There's a clip that every League of Legends fan has seen. EULCS, Week 1, Day 1. Big stage, high stakes, the kind that decide careers. Caedrel's team needs this match to start the season off right. And in one of those moments, where time slows down just enough for you to feel the weight of it, he flashes directly into the enemy team.
Ready to take a fight. Flash over. How do you... Just canceled. Wait.
That was
Caedrel just canceled it.
The comments were vicious, the memes were immediate, and for a 21-year-old mid laner from H2K who had been grinding the European scene for 3 years, it was close to the end of the road. Most people at that point disappear. Mark Lamont did not disappear. 6 years later, he would be the most watched person on Twitch. Not just in esports, on the entire platform. This is the case study of how that happened, and what it actually means financially. To understand what Caedrel built, you first have to understand what he couldn't build. He turned pro in 2015. Born in England, raised partly in Spain, which is where he first started playing League seriously, and where he'd pick up fluent Spanish. He debuted with a small Spanish team called Experience Esports Club in the LVP, Spain's domestic league. From there, the path you'd expect. Climb through regional teams, get picked up by bigger names, make the LEC. And he did, sort of. He played for Giants Gaming, Renegades Bandidos, FC Sheklo 4, H2K Gaming. He competed in the EUCS, the old EULCS. He was a professional League of Legends player at the highest level in Europe for nearly 5 years. But here's the thing about being a mid-tier pro in an ecosystem where value is entirely concentrated at the top. You are structurally invisible. His total career prize earnings across 18 tournaments amount to roughly $17,000. That's not a typo. $17,000 over 5 years of professional play. In a traditional corporate setting, that's a failed investment. In esports, it's a standard reality. And then came the flash. The moment in 2018 wasn't just a bad play, it became the thing people associated with his name. A specific kind of humiliation that follows you. He moved to Excel Esports, finished 9th and 10th in back-to-back LEC splits, and by 2020, the writing was on the wall. His playing career was over. But something interesting happened in that last stretch at Excel. Caedrel was already streaming on the side, already talking to an audience, already building something, even if he didn't fully know what it was yet. The pivot from player to broadcaster in esports isn't unusual, but Caedrel's version of it was unusually clean, because he had something most retired players don't. Credibility, yes. Insight, yes. But more than that, he was entertaining.
What the fuck?
He had an opinion. He wasn't afraid to say the uncomfortable thing on stream, and the LEC broadcast noticed. In 2020, the same year he retired from competitive play, he was already doing guest slots on European Masters commentary. 2021, he was core on-air talent for the LEC. He was casting major events. He was at the 2022 World's Grand Final.
Didn't find a response. Kuma, can he steal it?
Kuma will have the fire rifle.
At the same time, he was streaming, co-streaming LCK matches at hours that clashed with his casting schedule, covering LPL, building an audience that wasn't dependent on the LEC, giving him a platform. This is the decision most people in his position don't make. The safe path would be to lean fully into the official broadcast role. Institutional stability, a fixed corporate salary, and Riot's infrastructure behind you. The high variance path was trying to build an independent media entity simultaneously. He chose both.
Oh, we can win! We're back! We're fucking back! Don't you forget it!
He was intentionally decentralizing his career, ensuring that if one platform failed, he owned the underlying audience asset. And for 2 years, it nearly broke him. In 2023, Caedrel said something publicly that most content creators don't say. He said he was exhausted. The LEC had changed its schedule, the LCK had moved its start time. For stretches of weeks, he was casting professionally during the day and co-streaming matches into the early hours of the morning, with almost no gap between them. He described going entire days without real downtime. He wasn't sleeping right, he didn't have a life outside of League of Legends. And so, in September 2023, right before Worlds, he made a call. He announced he was leaving the LEC broadcast, done with official casting, going fully independent as a streamer. From the outside, it looked like a step down. You're leaving Riot's stage, the biggest esports broadcast in Europe, to sit at home and stream? But Caedrel had run the numbers, and the numbers said something very clear. Here's where this gets generally interesting from an economics perspective. When Caedrel was on the LEC broadcast, he was essentially an employee. He had a contract with Riot, a fixed fee for casting, and a schedule he didn't control. The upside was prestige and stability. The downside was that his earning potential was capped, and he was spending enormous amounts of time on something that was structurally incompatible with building an independent audience. As a full-time independent broadcaster, the monetization architecture is completely different. Twitch subscriptions represent his predictable revenue floor. Subscribers pay either $4.99 and $9.99 or $24.99 per month, and Twitch takes a cut. Typically 50%, though top streamers can negotiate better splits. Caedrel consistently holds between 13,000 and 36,000 active subscribers. At his base rate, that puts his monthly baseline somewhere between 32 and 90k before ad roll optimization, direct donations or bid. His subscriber record sits at 36,877 set in October 2025. Here is the genuinely novel part of Caedrel's model. He effectively commercialized the attention layer of the tournament itself. Co-streaming, watching live esport events and providing your own commentary is not a new concept. But Caedrel industrialized it. At Worlds 23, he drew 17 million hours watched. At Worlds 24, he was the single most watched English language broadcast for the entire tournament, beating Riot's own official stream, with a peak of 372,000 concurrent viewers. From a management perspective, this is a massive shift in leverage. Riot bears the capital expenditure of running the tournament, building the studio and paying the players. Caedrel captures the net attention value with zero operational overhead. He out-permissioned the system. Advertising revenue, the sponsorships and subscription spikes during these windows are enormous. Red Bull signed Caedrel as an official athlete. Let that land for a second. Red Bull, whose athlete roster includes Formula 1 world champions and Olympic medal winners, has Mark Lemont from Doncaster on their books. He's also had partnership with Fnatic, one of the most globally recognized esports organizations in the world. These deals operate differently from the transactional mention this product once model. They're longer-term brand associations, the kind that are worth significantly more because they attach a sponsor to a personality with genuine audience trust. His YouTube channel sits at over 600,000 subscribers with north of 115 million total views. YouTube ad revenue at that scale isn't the primary income driver, but it functions as an important distribution layer. Clips from his streams get millions of views, which brings new people into the funnel, which grows his Twitch audience, which increases subscription revenue. Estimates across several analyst sources place Caedrel's total monthly income at somewhere between 50 and 100 grand, with the top end occurring during major tournament periods. Annualized, this puts him in the range of 600 to over 1 million per year depending on the event calendar. And critically, these numbers have been growing, not shrinking since he went independent. The decision to leave Riot's broadcast wasn't a step down. It was a restructuring of his entire income model towards one with a much higher ceiling. And then, in late 2024, he executed his most aggressive brand expansion yet. He founded a League of Legends team called Los Ratones. Through 2025, the team completely dominated the European regional leagues, becoming the first organization in NLC history to win all 3 splits in a single year and capturing consecutive EMEA Master titles. They even secured a spot to compete against Tier 1 franchise teams in the 2026 LEC Versus event, before the project eventually concluded its run in February 2026. From a strategic management standpoint, Los Ratones wasn't a traditional sports venture. It was a vertically integrated content ecosystem. The team's scrims, matches, and roster drama served as raw material for his stream. The audience became the fanbase, the team became the content, and the content funneled viewers back to the core stream. It was a self-sustaining marketing loop. This is structurally a playbook borrowed from personalities like Ibai in Spain, who co-owns Esports. The audience becomes the team's fanbase, the team becomes content, and the content drives the audience. It just compounds. So, what do we actually take from this? Caedrel's career is a masterclass in optionality. At every major crossroads, he rejected institutional ceilings in favor of high variance plays that allowed him to capture asymmetric upside. He didn't just transition from player to caster, he used the caster role to build broadcast credibility while simultaneously building an independent audience that wasn't tied to any single organization. He didn't just become a streamer. He positioned the stream as the premium version of watching esport events. Better analysis, more personality, more entertaining. And let the official broadcasts become functionally inferior alternatives. One independent creator with a microphone captures a dominant share of the tournament's English language attention volume. In the digital economy, the infrastructure doesn't dictate terms anymore. The person who owns the direct psychological relationship with the audience owns the enterprise value. The Flash that everyone laughed at in 2018 is now part of the mythology. A guy who almost disappeared from esports became the most watched English language person in League of Legends history at its biggest events. That's not luck. That's a very deliberate set of decisions made by someone who understood, even if not always consciously, that in the attention economy, the person who owns the relationship with the audience owns the value. If you want more case studies like this, the economics behind esports, the decisions that made careers, the numbers nobody talks about, subscribe. New video coming soon.